The Kegworth Air Disaster involved a plane carrying 126 passengers that was en route from London, England to Ireland. On the cold and quiet night of January 8, 1989, the aircraft was cruising at an altitude of 28,000 feet when suddenly, there was a burning smell from the cockpit and the plane began to shake violently. The pilot suspected an engine issue and shut down one of the engines. However, this was just the beginning. The plane crashed onto a crowded motorway just 1 kilometer before the runway. What happened that night? And how did a routine flight turn into such a major tragedy? Let's explore in this video. Welcome to Mystery TV, everyone. Let's begin with the flight schedule. That day, the plane had two main journeys. First, it was supposed to fly from London Heathrow Airport to Belfast, Ireland, and then return to London Heathrow. This process is known as double Belfast. The weather on that day was clear with no rain or storms forecasted, and the temperature was 9 degrees Celsius. So, it was a normal flight schedule. The plane used for the flight was a brand new Boeing 737-400, which had been imported only a few months prior. The flight was operated by 43-year-old Captain Kevin Hunt and 39-year-old First Officer David McClelland. Captain Hunt had been with British Midland since 1966 and had 13,200 flying hours. First Officer McClelland had been with the airline since 1988 and had accumulated 300 hours. Together, they had 1,000 hours of experience in the Boeing 737 cockpit, but only 76 hours in the Boeing 737-400 series. Flight BD-092 took off from Heathrow at 1952 and was climbing towards a cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. Suddenly, a blade from the left engine broke off. With this catastrophic failure, the plane experienced severe noise and vibrations. The cabin filled with smoke, and there was a burning smell everywhere. Passengers seated in the rear noticed smoke and sparks coming from the left engine. Despite the frightening situation, the flight had to be diverted to East Midlands Airport. As per British Midland Airways operations, Captain Kevin Hunt immediately disengaged the autopilot. When he asked First Officer David McClelland which engine was malfunctioning, McClelland mistakenly identified the right engine as faulty. This confusion occurred because the pilots were accustomed to older 737 models, where the air conditioning system was divided differently. Due to this misunderstanding, they reduced the throttle on the right engine, thinking it was the malfunctioning one. It was not possible to visually check the engines from the cockpit, and the cabin crew was not given accurate information, as they hadn't heard anything about the right engine. Shutting down the right engine seemed to alleviate the smoke, as reduced fuel flow meant less unburned fuel was coming from the left engine's exhaust. However, this relief was only temporary, and the damage continued. During the final approach, the pilots decided to give more thrust to the damaged left engine, which ignited a fire and caused the engine to fail completely. The ground proximity warning system activated, giving glide slope warnings. The pilots tried to restart the right engine, but the plane was now only 900 feet above the ground and moving very slowly. At 20 hours 24 minutes and 33 seconds, Captain Hunt ordered passengers to prepare for crash landing and instructed them to take the brace position. The plane crashed into the ground 475 meters before the runway at a speed of 213 kilometers per hour. Upon impact, the plane bounced and struck trees and lampposts before crashing into an embankment about 630 meters from the paved surface of the runway. Interestingly, there were no vehicles on the M1 motorway at the time of the crash. The plane broke into 3 large pieces, reflecting the severity of the disaster. Out of the 118 passengers on board, 39 lost their lives immediately in the crash, and 8 more died later from injuries, bringing the total fatalities to 47. All 8 crew members survived. Of the 79 survivors, 74 sustained serious injuries, while 5 had minor injuries. During the rescue operation, 5 firefighters also suffered minor injuries. No one on the motorway was injured, and nearby vehicles remained undamaged. Initial responders included Graham Pearson, a former Royal Marine who helped the passengers for 3 hours and later received damages for post-traumatic stress disorder. Additionally, a troop of 8 SAS soldiers, including 4 paramedics, arrived to assist, Having been on the motorway when the crash occurred, investigations confirmed that the fire warning lights wiring was correct, but there was initial concern that engine sensors and warning lights might be misconnected. Captain Hunt thought the right engine was the problem due to smoke in the cabin, but in the Boeing 737-400. The bleed air for the air conditioning system comes from both engines. Cabin staff and passengers noticed unburned fuel burning from the left engine, but this information did not reach the pilots. The crash revealed that the CFM56 engine's fan blades experience high levels of vibration and metal fatigue at high power settings and altitudes, leading to the failure of one blade. This caused severe damage to the engine. The autothrottle increased the fuel flow, but the damaged engine could not burn all the fuel, creating a large flame trail behind it. Following the report, 31 safety recommendations were made, which improved aircraft safety and emergency instructions. Research funded by the CAA from the University of Nottingham and Hortal Whiting Structures led to updated guidelines for the brace position in October 1993. On November 21, 2016, the International Board for Research into Aircraft Crash Events was established to develop new standards for crash bracing positions. A memorial was erected at Kegworth Cemetery to honor those who lost their lives and those who assisted in the rescue operations. Captain Hunt and First Officer McClelland were dismissed for their actions. Alan Webb, Chief Fire Officer of East Midlands Airport, was awarded an MBE for his rescue efforts. Graham Pearson, a passing motorist, helped at the crash site and sued the airline for post-traumatic stress disorder, receiving £57,000 in damages.